She's blocking the hallway!
She's a patient. Back off.
Daddy, did I do something wrong?
The automatic doors of Mercy General Hospital in Springfield, Illinois, hissed open as I pushed my 8-year-old daughter, Lily, through the entrance in her wheelchair. Her small hand clutched mine, her grip tightening as it always did when we arrived for her weekly physical therapy. Lily was born with cerebral palsy, and though she faced the world with a courage that humbled me daily, I could see the flicker of nervousness in her bright green eyes. At 52, I'd seen enough of life as Springfield's police chief to know the world could be unkind, but I'd always shielded Lily from its worst. Today, though, something told me that shield would be tested. Daddy, will Dr. Thompson have those star stickers today? Lily asked, her voice soft but hopeful, her blonde curls bouncing as she tilted her head. I bet she will, kiddo, I said, adjusting the quilted blanket over her legs, her favorite, patterned with sunflowers. You've been working hard. You deserve all the stickers. Lily grinned, and my heart swelled. 3 decades in law enforcement had shown me humanity's darkest corners, but Lily was my light. We headed down the bustling corridor toward the pediatric wing, the hum of hospital life surrounding us, nurses calling out, families passing by, the faint beep of monitors. I kept Lily's wheelchair close to the right side of the hall, a habit we developed to make her feel secure while leaving room for others. That's when I noticed her. A woman in her late 40s, with sleek auburn hair pulled into a tight bun, stood near the reception desk, her designer purse dangling from her arm like a badge of authority. Her badge read, Volunteer Supervisor, Mercy General, and her sharp voice cut through the hallway as she berated a young nurse. This is unacceptable, she snapped, her manicured nails jabbing the air. People need to respect hospital rules. I've been here 6 months, and I won't tolerate this mess in my wing. I felt a prickle of unease. In my line of work, I'd met plenty of people who wielded small power like a sledgehammer. But this was a children's hospital, a place of healing. Surely, she'd show restraint here. I was wrong. As we approached the elevator, her eyes locked onto us, narrowing as they landed on Lily's wheelchair. Her lips pursed, and I braced myself. Excuse me, she called, her heels clicking sharply against the tile as she stormed toward us. You can't block the hallway like that. I stopped, confused. We were clearly on the right side, leaving ample space for others. Ma'am, we're not blocking anything, I said calmly. We're just heading to the elevator. Her face flushed. Don't lie to me. That wheelchair is taking up too much space. This is a hospital, not a park. You need to keep her out of the way. My jaw tightened, but I kept my tone even, years of de-escalation training kicking in. My daughter has every right to be here. We're going to her appointment, and we're not in anyone's way. Lily's hand squeezed mine, and I felt her shrink back in her chair. The confidence she'd built over months of therapy began to crumble under this woman's venom. My protective instincts roared, but I held steady. Don't you dare talk back to me. The woman whose badge read Maureen Carter hissed, stepping closer. I'm the volunteer supervisor here. That child is disrupting hospital flow, and you're being deliberately difficult. Maureen, what's happening? A calm voice broke through. Dr. Ellen Thompson, Lily's physical therapist, approached, her brow furrowed. Ellen was a warm, skilled woman in her late 30s who'd helped Lily gain strength and confidence. Is there a problem? Maureen's lips curled into a forced smile. Dr. Thompson, I'm just explaining that wheelchairs need to be managed properly. They can't block important foot traffic. Ellen glanced at us, puzzled. I don't understand. Chief Harper and Lily are always courteous. They never cause issues in the hallways. Maureen's eyes widened, and for a moment, I thought she'd back down upon hearing my title. Instead, her face reddened further. Chief Harper, she scoffed. Chief of what? And even if that's true, it doesn't give your kid special privileges to disrupt my hospital. Lily's voice, small and trembling, cut through the tension. Daddy, I don't want to make trouble. Can we go home? My heart broke. This hospital was Lily's sanctuary, a place where she grew stronger. Now, this woman was making her feel like a burden. We're not going anywhere, sweetheart, I said firmly, squeezing her hand. You belong here. Maureen's eyes blazed. How dare you? I've been volunteering here for months, giving my time to help people, and I won't be disrespected by some entitled parent and his attention-seeking kid. "Ma'am," I said, my voice dropping to the low, controlled tone I used with the worst offenders. "Step back and lower your voice. You're scaring my daughter." "I'll do no such thing," Maureen shrieked, closing the distance to Lily's wheelchair. Then she made her fatal mistake. In a flash of anger, she grabbed the armrest of Lily's chair and yanked it backward. Lily gasped, losing her grip and tumbling sideways onto the cold floor. Before I could react, Maureen raised her foot and stomped on Lily's leg, the leg that barely had feeling due to her condition. "Maybe now you'll learn to stay out of the way," Maureen snarled. The world turned red. Time seemed to slow and speed up all at once. Lily's cry of fear and pain pierced my soul. My own voice roared, a primal sound I barely recognized. "Dr. Thompson," shouted for security and medical help. I lunged forward, positioning myself between Maureen and my daughter, my training keeping me just short of physical retaliation. "Get away from her," I growled, my voice lethal. Maureen stumbled back, her bravado faltering as she realized what she'd done. "Daddy," Lily sobbed from the floor, her small body shaking. I dropped to my knees, my hands trembling as I checked her for injuries. "I'm here, baby," I whispered, helping her sit up. "Where does it hurt?" "My leg," she cried, pointing to where Maureen had stomped. "It hurts, Daddy." "Why did she do that?" "I was being good." "You were perfect," I said, fighting to keep my voice steady as I examined her leg. Dr. Thompson hovered nearby, her face pale with shock. A medical team arrived, gently assessing Lily while I held her hand, my rage barely contained. Maureen stood a few feet away, her face drained of color. "She was blocking," she stammered, but her voice trailed off as security approached. "Is she okay?" Dr. Thompson asked the medical team. "Bruising on her leg, no fractures," a doctor reported. "We'll need x-rays to confirm, but the emotional trauma is the bigger concern." Lily clung to me, her voice barely audible. "I don't want to come back here, Daddy. I don't like it anymore." My chest ached. This place, meant for healing, was now tainted for her. Then I heard a familiar voice. Chief Harper, Detective Laura Bennett, one of my best officers, strode toward us. Someone had called the police, and dispatch sent her when they heard my name. "We got a report of an assault on a minor," Laura said, her eyes softening as she saw Lily's tear-streaked face. "What do you need?" I glanced at Maureen, who was now wringing her hands, looking for an escape. "Ma'am," Laura said to her, "stay right there. We need to talk about what happened." "This is absurd." Maureen's voice cracked. "I barely touched her. She's exaggerating. They're trying to frame me." Dr. Thompson stepped forward, her voice icy. "I saw everything." She grabbed Lily's wheelchair, caused her to fall, and stomped on her leg. "She's not exaggerating. They're lying," Maureen shrieked. "I'm a volunteer. I was maintaining order." Laura began taking statements as another officer arrived. I focused on Lily, who was calming slightly but still trembling. The medical team prepared to take her for x-rays. "Daddy," she whispered, "will you arrest the mean lady?" I looked into her wide eyes and made a vow. "Sweetheart, I'll make sure she can't hurt any other kids. She's going to face consequences." Maureen overheard and rushed toward us, desperation in her voice. "Please, it's a misunderstanding. I'm not a bad person. I volunteer here. I was just stressed." "Ma'am," I said, standing to face her, "you assaulted my disabled daughter in a hospital. There's no misunderstanding." Laura stepped in, her tone formal. "Maureen Carter, you're under arrest for assault and battery on a minor, child endangerment, and assault with injury." As she read Maureen her Miranda rights, the woman's composure shattered. She sobbed, pleading as she was cuffed and led away. Lily watched silently, then looked up at me. "Why was she so mean, Daddy?" I knelt beside her wheelchair, now repositioned after the medical check. "Some people carry anger that has nothing to do with you. She wasn't mad at you, she was mad at her own life and took it out on you because she thought you couldn't fight back. But she was wrong. You've got me, and I'll always fight for you." Lily nodded, processing this with a wisdom beyond her years. "Will she go to jail?" "Yes, baby. What she did was against the law, and she'll face consequences, especially for hurting a child." Dr. Thompson rejoined us as we headed to radiology. "Lily, most people here love seeing you. That woman was an exception, not the rule." "I know." Lily said softly, managing a small smile. She was different. The X-rays confirmed no broken bones, but Lily's leg was badly bruised, and the emotional toll was evident. She grew quiet, her usual spark dimmed, constantly glancing around as if expecting another attack. That night, after tucking her into bed with extra stuffed animals and a nightlight we hadn't used in years, I sat in my office and made calls. First, to the district attorney. Maureen Carter would face serious charges, and I wanted the case airtight. As police chief, I'd recuse myself from direct involvement, but as Lily's father, I'd be at every hearing. Second, to the hospital director. I demanded a report on how someone like Maureen had access to vulnerable patients. Third, to my wife, Ellen, who was visiting her sister in Chicago. She needed to hear this from me before it hit the news. The story exploded in Springfield. Hospital volunteer attacks disabled girl dominated headlines, and Maureen became a pariah overnight. The hospital banned her and launched a review of their volunteer program. Dr. Thompson checked on Lily daily, and the staff went out of their way to make her feel safe at her next appointment. But the real change came from the community. Mrs. Larson, who owned the local diner, sent Lily homemade brownies with notes praising her courage. The Springfield High football team dedicated a game to her, naming her honorary captain. Businesses displayed Lily's crew signs in their windows. Families with disabled children reached out, sharing their own stories of discrimination, forming a tight-knit support network. Lily went from feeling alone to being surrounded by people who celebrated her. The legal process moved swiftly. Maureen's lawyer argued she'd acted out of character due to stress, but security footage showed her deliberate cruelty. District Attorney Sarah Coleman was unrelenting. The defendant targeted a vulnerable child, exploiting her disability to inflict harm. This is not just a crime, it's a betrayal of human decency. Maureen looked broken in court, her polished facade gone. Lily didn't testify. The video evidence was enough, but I explained the process to her. The lady who hurt you is in court. A judge will decide her punishment. You don't have to see her, but she can't hurt anyone else. Will she learn to be nicer? Lily asked. I hope so, I said. Sometimes people need big consequences to understand their mistakes. The trial lasted 3 days. Witnesses, including Dr. Thompson and hospital staff, testified about Maureen's aggressive behavior. The security footage, showing her stomping on Lily's leg, left the jury visibly shaken. I had to step out when it played, unable to watch my daughter's pain again. Maureen's defense claimed she was a dedicated volunteer who snapped, but her own words on the audio, "Maybe now you'll learn to stay out of the way," sealed her fate. The jury deliberated for an hour. Guilty on all charges: assault and battery on a minor, child endangerment, and assault with injury. Maureen collapsed, sobbing, as her family looked on in despair. I felt no joy, only relief for Lily. At sentencing, Judge Margaret Evans was stern. Ms. Carter, you deliberately targeted an 8-year-old disabled child for simply existing in a public space. Your actions reflect a profound failure of compassion. Maureen received 18 months in prison, 3 years of probation, 500 hours of community service with disabled adults, and mandatory counseling. She was banned from working with children or vulnerable populations and ordered to pay Lily's medical and therapy costs. As we left the courthouse, Lily asked, "Is she sorry now, Daddy?" "I think she's sorry she got caught," I said carefully. "Whether she's truly sorry for hurting you, I don't know. But I hope she learns." Lily nodded. "Maybe she'll be kinder after she thinks about it." Her forgiveness stunned me, but I wasn't there yet. Maureen had tried to break my daughter's spirit, to make her feel unwelcome in a place of healing. The consequences were just, but they couldn't erase Lily's fear or her question. Why did she hurt me when I was being good? 6 months later, Lily was herself again, her confidence restored by the community's love. She returned to therapy with enthusiasm, even asking Dr. "I can tell them most people here are nice," she said, "and the mean ones get in trouble." Dr. Thompson made her an unofficial ambassador, and Lily's smile lit up the pediatric wing. Maureen served her full sentence, struggling in prison, unaccustomed to the disrespect she'd once dished out. After release, she began community service at a center for disabled adults, where, according to Laura Bennett, she started to change. She asked about Lily. Laura said, Not in a way that breaks the restraining order, but working with these folks is making her see what she tried to take from your daughter. I didn't care about Maureen's redemption. My focus was Lily. 2 years later, at 10, she spoke at a disability advocacy conference in Chicago. From her wheelchair, raised to its highest setting, she addressed a packed room. Some people are mean because they don't understand us, she said. They think being different means being less, but my daddy says we're just important in different ways. If someone hurts you, there are people who will make sure they face consequences. And for every mean person, there are lots of kind ones. You just have to find them. The audience gave her a standing ovation. Maureen's cruelty had meant to dim Lily's light, but it had only made her shine brighter. The hospital implemented stricter volunteer screenings. Schools launched disability awareness programs. Our police department trained officers on handling cases involving disabled individuals. Lily had turned pain into purpose. That night, as I tucked her into bed, she asked, "Daddy, do you think the mean lady learned to be kind?" "I think she's trying," I said. "But what matters is you. You never let anyone make you feel like you don't belong." Lily smiled. "I know I belong, Daddy. And if anyone says I don't, I've got you, Dr. Thompson, Mrs. Larson's brownies, the football team, and everyone else who thinks I'm important just the way I am." Justice wasn't just Maureen's sentence. It was Lily's victory rising above cruelty, surrounded by a community that celebrated her. Maureen had tried to push her aside, to make her invisible. Instead, Lily took up all the space she deserved, her light undimmed.